Hello, are you an entrepreneur? Are you thinking about entrepreneurialism? Well, today we're going to be speaking with Ganesan of Kyyba Xcelerator and Kyyba Incorporated. He's going to give us some tips about being an entrepreneur, and he's also going to tell us about a brand new venture that he started to help entrepreneurs grow right here in Farmington Hills. Tel, thank you for joining us today.
Glad to be here, Kalfan.
All right. So in our intro, I said that you own two different companies here, Kyyba Accelerated and Kyyba Incorporated. So let's just jump right into it and talk about what are they? What does Kyyba do?
So Kyyba is a global IT and engineering services company. We are headquartered out of Farmington Hills. We've been operating here since 2009. And so we serve, companies such as FCA, Ford, GM, Valeo. So we have over 700 employees. And end of last year, I stepped down from the day-to-day operations of the Kyyba Inc. To focus on another venture, which is the Kyyba Accelerator. So those are the two companies that I currently operate. And I also have another company, which I didn't tell you. It's a Kyyba Ventures. It focuses on digital health and healthcare opportunities.
And I'm so glad to have you here today, because what we're really going to be speaking about is entrepreneurship and different entrepreneurial ventures and how to get involved with that. I know that is, it's kind of a buzzword right now, but more than it being a buzzword, it's something that's really taking hold in Southeast Michigan. And hopefully you're going to be able to give our viewers some insights, one into what you've done to become successful, and then also how Kyyba can help these new entrepreneurs, get to where you are. So let's talk a little bit about the genesis of Kyyba Inc., how you came to start it, and where it is now.
Yes, so I'm an ex-Chrysler. So I was at Chrysler for 13 years. And then in 2005, I really wanted to pursue entrepreneurship. So I took a plunge, started with just myself. And then now, after 12 years now, we have over 700 employees operating at multiple locations, Canada, India, and US. And as you know, with any entrepreneurial journey, you keep doing the same thing, you get bored. So that you're not going to get the adrenaline rush. And so that's why I kind of created these kind of companies, the Kyyba Accelerator and the Kyyba Ventures.
All right. And so we know that the Kyyba Inc. is an IT services firm.
Yes.
What's the accelerator, and what are you looking to do with it?
Yeah. So the accelerator is that then, being in Detroit and working in the automotive industry, as you know, things are changing in the automotive landscape.
Yes.
We are talking about the connected cars, the driverless vehicle, all kinds of things are happening. And I think our Detroit is going back to its glory. As a result, there is a lot of opportunities are happening. So I want to capitalize on that and leverage those opportunities, and most importantly, also create new set of entrepreneurs. So that's what this Kyyba Accelerator is all about. It's a global second stage accelerator focused on connected mobility. When I say mobility, it includes everything. It's just not automotive. It's also mass transportation, a smart cities concept that will help the cities, all the way up to trucking and logistics and all that.
Okay. And so I'm an entrepreneur. I've got that bug. What do I come to the accelerator for? How are you going to help me? Because you said second stage, and some of our viewers may be in second stage, and because they haven't been in the business, they're not sure what second stage means. So let's give a definition of what second stage is, and then also let's talk about what they're going to look for when they come to the accelerator.
Yes. So let's first address the question of the second stage. So if you really look at the current landscape, you have incubators where it's more like a hangout place where the wannabe entrepreneurs, they go there and hang out with the fellow entrepreneurs, because entrepreneurs sometimes is lonely, so they want to be together in that space. It's more like a co-working space. And then we have accelerators that provide cohort-based program where entrepreneurs go there and spend about 90 days, and they go through more like a boot camp version of entrepreneurship. So they get to know the building blocks of entrepreneurship, right? It's like the lean startup methodologies, business model, canvassing, so on and so forth. But what I'm finding in the marketplace is that what happens after that? So they need a lot of help in the technical arena, meaning how do we accelerate technically? You know, technologically they lack all those areas, and then how do we open the doors in terms of the customer development? So where we help is really in the areas of product development, customer development, and technical mentoring and investment. So those are the 4 elements that we add to the equation that will allow them to go to angel investors or Series A. So what I believe is that if you look at the incubator, accelerator, then angel and Series A, in between there is a runway. We are trying to capture that runway.
Okay, so
and that is our sweet spot, and that's what I call as a second stage.
All right, so
in terms of acceleration.
All right, so let's try this here. I've got my idea.
Yes.
I know what the product is that I want to make. You know, I've done my time in the incubator from the standpoint of, you know, I've been hanging out with the other entrepreneurs, and I think I've pretty well narrowed down what this thing is that I'm going to do.
Okay.
And so I don't have any sales yet. Am I a good fit?
Yes.
All right.
So if you have a product, is great. Yes. So that's where we're going to help with all our industry expertise and the connections that we have. We would be able to open the doors for them, because that's the biggest hurdle for the entrepreneurs, because they don't have the experience and they certainly don't have the connections to go in front of a customer.
They've got the ideas, they've got the products, but they don't have the expertise for knocking on the doors and packaging the product.
You got it.
All right.
So we call them customer development. That's what we offer.
Customer development. Okay.
Yes.
So how about this? I've got the product. I've got a couple sales, but I'm light on understanding. What am I looking for? I'm light on understanding how to build my team. Right. So I can do what I do, but I don't know how to hire people.
Yes, and we will help them with that, because with all our operational knowledge, running bigger companies, so we know what the pain points are in dealing with people, forming a team. Remember, like when you have only 1 or 2 people as an entrepreneur, you don't have any experience building teams, and most of the time it's really execution that matters. Idea is only 20% of the equation, 80% is execution, and execution, it really comes to the team.
All right.
So it's like a car. You got to have the 4 wheels in alignment. If one of the wheel is not doing well, you're not going to run the car well, right? I mean, so we take to the dealership every 6 months to get them aligned, right? And same thing applies in an entrepreneurial context, in a team building. And if those team members are not aligned and they're all moving in different direction, you're not going to reach your end goal. And so that's what we help in team building, team formation, and hiring the people and operations, so they really focus. So we help them to focus really on what matters, which is the product.
Okay. So this is very interesting, and I really like where you're going with this. Now there are a couple of other resources out there besides Kyyba.
Yes.
And, you know, help me differentiate yourself from, say, TechTown or some of the others that we may have heard of.
Yeah. So TechTown, I would say they are more of an incubator, right? So people can find a co-working space at TechTown. They may help them with creating more awareness, like workshops, events, etc. But I don't believe, based on what I know, TechTown is not going to roll up the sleeves and then, hey, I'm going to help you develop your product. I'm going to help you call XYZ to open the doors for you, because that is not their expertise. So in other words, we don't want to do what TechTown is doing.
Right.
We wanted to do what TechTown is not doing, and the rest. That's where we differentiate ourselves.
All right. So the big differentiation between Kyyba and some of these other incubators is really that your focus is working with the companies to actually develop the product and develop the market. Whereas when we're talking about the different incubators, they're more focused on taking the company from a concept to being an actual company.
Yes.
To having something
yes,
to sell.
Yes. In other words, I would say this way, their focus is mainly on creating the business plan. So they
Right.
work on the business plan, but we work on the business.
Right. So they're the plan, you're the execution.
You got it.
All right. So we're going to take a short break here. When we come back, we're going to talk a little bit more about the services, and we're going to talk some more about your other venture, which is Kyyba Ventures.
Sure.
All right?
All right.
Thank you. And we're back.
Yes.
Again, thank you for joining us today. We're speaking with Ganesan. He's with Kyyba Incorporated and also the Kyyba Accelerator. At the top of the show, we talked a little bit about the history of how you got into doing this and about the fact that you yourself are an entrepreneur. Now let's talk about how you want to take the skills that you've developed and transfer them to this next generation of entrepreneurs.
Yes.
So with the Accelerator, there's some different services that you offer. And we all know, you talked about the different stages of entrepreneurship and what the company goes through. You talked a little bit about angels and different things. Before we get to angels, I have a great idea. And I have family and friends, and we know that that's the first area of funding after your own credit
Tap
cards.
into it, that's right.
But what about, I've done the credit cards, I've done the family and friends, I'm not ready for angels, and I'm here speaking with you. What does Kyyba have to help me through that part of the journey?
So Kalfani, what I have seen so far is really more than the money. It's really if it can be productized, if it can be taken into the market, if it can start creating revenue. You don't really need a whole lot of money because the company will fund itself, and that's what we are trying to focus on. We try to focus on what really matters to a business, which is the actual product, actual market. And if we could solve those two problems along with actual technical mentoring, I think we are closer to hitting the goal, and that's what we try to offer.
Okay. So how would an entrepreneur find you?
Well, we just opened the shop, and even before I could open the shop, I have already have 7 or 8 people talking to us, so we are in discussions with them in structuring how they could be part of this accelerator. Obviously, we have a website, www.KyybaXcelerator.com.
Now spell Kyyba for us.
Kyyba, and then Xcelerator.com.
All right, so we're going to have that up, but
Yes.
just do it one more time for everyone.
www.Kyyba, Kyyba, Xcelerator, that is Celerator.com.
All right, and so for all those entrepreneurs out there who are trying to figure out, is this the right fit for me? They can go on there, they get a little bit more information.
Yes, more information.
All the stuff
yes.
that we're talking about right now.
What's that?
I said they can find all the stuff that
Yes,
we're talking about
absolutely,
right now. It's
absolutely,
all there for them
absolutely,
to see.
absolutely.
Okay, and now you also represent another industry or another company. Organization.
Yes.
And that's TIE, T-I-E.
Yes.
And so can you tell us a little bit about TIE and how that joins in, don't want to use the pun, how that joins in with what Kyyba is doing?
So obviously Kyyba is for profit.
Yes.
And the TIE is not for profit. And so as I don't have enough time, so I'm also working on TIE as my passion to give back. TIE is the largest entrepreneurial organization that fosters entrepreneurship. Started in Silicon Valley by a bunch of entrepreneurs, and then over the next 25 years, it has become the largest entrepreneurial network. It focuses again on education, mentoring, incubating, funding, and then obviously events, and those are the 5 pillars of that organization. So I'm the president of the local chapter with the TIE Detroit chapter. And we also host a conference called TIECon, which brings a lot of entrepreneurs in the region. In fact, that is the largest entrepreneurial conference in the state of Michigan. And we currently have plans to host one in November 9th and 10th at the Ganesan Marriott. So the preparations are all underway. So that's what I focus on. Again, same thing, it has startups, it has mature companies, the whole ecosystem. And I've been doing that for a while, and I said, wow, with all these connections and everything, and that's what motivated me to start my own two ventures, the Kyyba Ventures and the Kyyba Accelerator.
All right. And so the Accelerator, as we said, is really looking to take companies, mentor them, and get them, get their wings spread.
Yes.
Tell us a little bit about Kyyba Ventures. What is its goal, and how does it join with the Kyyba family of companies?
Yeah. So obviously the accelerator starts with the startup, and with the ventures we don't work with the startup. We just looking for companies that are close to revenue within 6 months of getting the revenue.
Okay.
So it's a pure venture fund.
Okay, so
it's a VC, a venture fund, yes.
So yeah, that's what I wanted to make sure that everyone understood. So right, we've got the technical assistance, and then we've also got the venture fund where we can get the technical assistance, we can get a little bit of the capital that we may need to get us over that hurdle.
Yes.
Now that's awesome because we hear so often in the news that there's not venture capital here, but you're turning that around.
I'm starting to. Yes.
And you're obviously not the only one in the game.
That's true.
But you're right here in Farmington Hills. You're accessible, and you're looking.
Yes.
So, how about some tips from the entrepreneur? So, what was the biggest thing that you didn't know when you started your companies that you wish you had known now?
I think building the right team, because it goes back to the execution, right? So people have a lot of ideas, but not all ideas become reality. The reason it doesn't become reality because of execution. So if you really look at all the MBAs that are going to so many schools, if they know, they have all the ideas. In fact, they have all the knowledge, but the reason they're not turning them into entrepreneurs because they don't execute. To execute, you need a team. You need a team that are like-minded, that are passionate and believe in the same goal and same mission. And if you don't have that, you're going to keep doing reworking, going back and forth, covering, looking at what this guy is going to do, and you're going to spend all your time on the people instead of working on the product and the market. To me, that was the biggest learning, and I'm still trying to constantly keep thinking, how do I build a winning team?
How do you build a winning team?
If you build a winning team, in my mind, rest is easy. Rest is history. And
so then I'm taking it from that philosophy that team building and finding those members is a large part of the
absolutely.
The experience that the Kyyba is bringing to the different entrepreneurs that you're working with.
Absolutely. So how do you put the right pieces in place? It's like solving the puzzle, right? If you have the right pieces, you solve the puzzle. Business is no different than that.
Okay. So you said you did 13 years at Chrysler.
Yes.
And then you started your own venture.
Yes.
So how long from the time that you started Kyyba was it that you decided that you just needed to get back into that entrepreneurial bug and help everyone else?
So about 11 years now. So from 2005 till 2016. Right. So 11 years I was doing the same thing. And like anybody else, I got bored doing the same thing. It's, don't get me wrong, the money is coming, but leaving the money aside, you need that, curiosity, the motivation that can only come by looking at new technologies and so on and so forth. Right. And that's why I said, okay, the next 10 years, I'm going to focus on disruptive technologies that has so much of potential in our region.
All right, so we're drawing close to close here, and I want to make sure that we haven't missed anything. So, for those entrepreneurs out there who are seeing this, do you have any last-minute tips for them? Do you have anything else that you wanna share before we close up?
I think one has to follow their own dreams. America is a land of opportunities. It's the land of entrepreneurs. There is no other country on the face of the planet Earth that is more supportive and encouraging for the entrepreneurs. I came from India 28 years ago, and look at what I was able to do in this country. And so anybody who wants to become an entrepreneur, this is the greatest place. And we are in the best times. And we are in the best city right now, which is going back to its glory. And with the technologies and trends that are disrupting, if it is not the right time, I don't know when the right time will be. So I think people should jump on and take advantage of the opportunities out there. And I believe that entrepreneurship should be considered as a career It's no longer, it's like considered like a gamble that people were perceived before. It's like a real profession. And most important, you make money and you become super rich in the process. But that's not why you do it, but that's a byproduct of you getting involved in this entrepreneurship.
Well, Tel, we appreciate it. Thank you for your time today. Thank you for everything that you're doing to help our entrepreneurial climate right here in Farmington Hills. And thank you for watching.